everybody, welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm coming at you with a quick, interesting video for you. Today I'm going to do something real simple. I'm going to make a small fire, and I'm going to take this Altoids tin and a little bit of this cotton wash rag, and I'm going to show you how to make some really good char cloth. So stay with me. I hope you enjoy the video. Okay folks, let's get started. I'm going to take my knife right here, and on the back of this knife you can see that I have a nice clean 90-degree spine. I'm going to take that 90-degree spine and I'm going to scrape some of this fat wood. What I'm doing here is I'm making some tinder. See how that works? Make me a nice little pile. You can use the front of your blade if you want. You can push it with your thumb and make little pieces. If you choose to do it that way, that's fine too. I just try to use the spine of my knife whenever I can. That way I keep the edge, the sharp edge on the point of my knife when I need to do something sharp. A little bit windy today. So there you have it. I have a small little piece of char, or excuse me, a little piece of fat wood. I'm going to cut some little chunks off. I want a couple little pieces because I want it to sustain itself for a little bit. And that should be plenty. I have a bunch of little pieces here. So once, hopefully I'll get some ignition out of these really fine pieces, and then I'll put some of these larger pieces on it. And if all goes well, hopefully we'll be doing pretty well. Had a little ember there. Let's try to hit these guys right here. Okay, not a lot of luck right now. Okay folks, I'm back. I went and got a little bit of dry grass, and I'm going to break this stuff up, and hopefully it'll capture that spark. The wind is kind of being a booger for us today. There we go. We have some ignition. Now I'm going to just, you'll notice that it's hopefully going to catch that fat wood, and that'll sustain our flame a little bit. I've got my small little toothpick size that my daughter got for me. I'm going to set some of those on there. That'll get me started, hopefully. And I have that fat wood underneath, kind of to hold that flame, help ignite this other stuff. It looks like as soon as I get some fuel coming off the top here, or excuse me, the flames, I'm going to start adding some of this larger stuff. This is perfect material that she gathered for me. What she did was she gathered the fuel in graduations. So there's some small stuff, then there's a little bit larger stuff, and then there's even larger stuff yet. Still, thank you. So there we go. Now I'm going to let this burn down a little bit, and we'll see you in a minute. Okay folks, while we're waiting on this fire to get going, I'm going to take this cotton material and I'm going to start cutting it in little pieces. See that? I got a nice little row. I'm going to cut that baby in half, just like this. And I'll cut it in half one more time. So I'll have 4 little pieces of cotton. Yeah, I don't think I got through all of it. So I have 4 pieces of cotton here. Put my knife away. And I'm going to put that cotton in this Altoids tin. Just like that. Pack it down in there. See that? Just like that. Close the lid. And this is going to go right on top of the flames. It's going to discolor that container because it's never been burned in yet, but that's no problem. I'm just going to put it right there. And what's going to happen here is the material inside is going to heat up very quickly. And as that process happens, it's going to start smoking outside of that container. And when that smoke stops, that means we've charred the material inside, and that's exactly what we're hoping for. We want to just char this material inside. I'm just going to build a little bit of a fire right on top of it. Just like this. Nothing too crazy. Keep adding a little bit of fuel. We want that char tin to get nice and hot. The reason we're doing it in a tin is because we need to superheat the material, but we need to do it in a way where it's not going to allow oxygen to come into the material, because if oxygen comes into the material, then we're just burning the material. We don't want to burn it, we just want to char it. Some of you watching this video right now might be thinking, you know, hey dude, I thought you were supposed to poke a hole in the tin to let the oxygen out. And you're exactly right. But in our case today, that's not necessary because the tin that we're using has hinges on the back side, and those hinges let the oxygen out of the tin. So I'm just kind of moving this stuff around, just kind of poking around. I want to see what it looks like, but you don't want to open it up until it stops smoking. And you can do this on a campfire, you can do this over a stove. Just, if you're going to do that, make sure you got adequate ventilation. That's why we're doing it outside here. Okay folks, I think that we're probably pretty good and charred up, so I'm going to pull this can out. Set it over here away from the fire, and I'm just going to let it cool naturally. See you in a few minutes. Okay folks, let's check this out and see if this is cool enough to the touch to handle. Still a little warm, but it is cool enough to handle. Let's open this up and see if we're charred. Whoa, look at that. Look at that beautiful char cloth there. Look at that, it's nice and thick. See that? It's not burnt. Here in a minute I'm going to get out of the wind and we'll take this char cloth and I'll show you what we do with it. Just in case you didn't know. This thing cooled off. I really like these Altoids tins because they're thin. You know, they cool off pretty quickly. You can see that my fire is still there. Okay folks, I've moved over here. There's the piece of char cloth that I just made. You probably don't need that whole piece, but I'm going to just go ahead and demonstrate it anyway. So you have this piece of char, and when you put a spark against it, if you're going to use flint and steel or whatever method, it'll capture those sparks for you. Bear with me. See how that thing's just lighting up? It's getting hot in my hand. See that? That, my friends, is really good char cloth. It's getting nice and hot. It's made out of real thick material, so it holds an ember very well. That right there is the ultimate char cloth, in my opinion. Stuff holds an ember for quite some time. See that? So that would give you time to establish some sort of little tinder bundle or something like that. Let me back out. Whoops, sorry, wrong way. A little more of this stuff. See how that works, folks? Just kind of blow it to life. Have it. There's our flame right there. So that's what we use our char cloth for, folks. It's easy to make. It doesn't take much. You can buy those little dish rags and things like that at Walmart. They're pretty cheap. Just make sure that they're 100% cotton when you purchase them, because that's what you need for good char cloth. You can use t-shirt material and all these other things. There's all kinds of things you can use to make char. The main thing is it has to be 100% cotton. Now look at that. That piece is officially been used. But look, I put it out, right? I threw some dirt on it. Watch this. You can use it again. There it goes. Lit up again. See that? See it right there? Kind of hot to hold on to, but you see how it came back to life? Bury it again. Put it out. That takes all the oxygen away. So, in a nutshell, making this thick char like this, you can technically almost use it multiple times. So if you're trying to make fire using something like solar ignition or things like that, this real thick heavy duty char works good for that. See how they're all out? There's nothing there. So what I'll do is I'll take my little pin here. I'll put all those pieces back in there. Sometimes if you want to make like a little char, you can just put that piece in the other side and ignite it just like this. I don't know if I got it or not. The wind is kind of against me today. There it is. I believe I have an ember. See it in there? Glowing away. I can feel it in my fingers. It's nice and warm. But that's why I like that really thick material. It makes the best char. This baby is hot. Okay, folks. Here's another little batch that I'm making. Shut this thing up. Put it right on the fire. We're just going to let that baby char away. Just like that. And I'll see you in a few minutes. Some of you out there might be thinking, you know, can you overcook this stuff? And really the answer is no. I've left char in the fire for long periods of time. You see how this can, how you can see there's flames coming out of the can? That's an indicator that tells me that my char cloth is not finished yet. It's still cooking inside, so I want to wait until those flames go where they're not coming out no more. I want to wait until they stop. Smoke is fine, flames is fine, you know, it's not finished until those flames and smoke stop. As long as you're getting flames and smoke out of the hinges or the hole in your tin, you're still cooking that cloth and it's not done yet. So don't get too excited thinking that, oh, it's already done, because sometimes if you take your char cloth out prematurely and it's not done yet, it won't accept a spark as well. See how I'm still smoking pretty good? Out of the tin, not the fire, but out of the tin. That's what I'm looking for. I'm waiting for that smoke to stop. When it does, I'll remove it from the heat and it'll be done. If you were to go, you know, have somebody maintain the fire, you could build a fire right on top of that tin and pull it out in the morning and it'll be fine. Because once again, as long as there's not oxygen getting into your char, you're good to go. Okay folks, this thing's sat for a few minutes. It's still a little warm, but it's not hot. It's manageable. These tins, they cool off pretty quick. Crack that baby open and see what we have. Look at that, man, that's some beautiful char cloth. I always like to take a little piece. Oops. You can hear it kind of rip a little bit. It means it wasn't 100% done, but it's done enough. I'm going to test it. I always like to test a little piece of the char that I make. Because I don't ever want to make char that doesn't work. Look at that. That's good char. See that? I always test a little piece before you think that you're good to go. That's probably the best char a guy can make right there.